And we are here today again for all of you.
Hello.
We really want to make sure that you are the front and center of the show. So please chime in. Please give us your comments, questions, anything that you wish to add to the show. This is Dorit, and I'm here to introduce our newest member of the team, which is Lisa. And of course, we do have our Echo Private Eye page. Lisa, go ahead and do your music.
Do-do, do-do. Do-do, do-do, do-do. Do-do, do-do, do-do. Do-do, do-do. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Oh, we can't hear our Eco Private. You're muted.
That's because she's muted. So
well, here we are.
We're a cast of characters today. I feel like I should be doing something mysterious.
Yeah, do you have mysterious music, Lisa?
I don't have anything to add after my intro. I see you. I see you. Strangers in the night, exchanging glances.
Also,
I don't know the rest of the lyrics, so I'd continue.
Vanessa from Indiana is with us. And
hello.
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 Emerging from my dumpster diving.
And so that our audience understands what we're talking about, why don't we just play the video? If it doesn't play, then I will actually come back on. We'll come back right back on, but just bear with us, please, as we got to throw this corn away. It's just wasted. I mean, I'm just gonna throw it out. Okay.
No, you don't. That is food waste. Zero food waste is what we are committed to. And this is Eco Private Eye catching you in the act.
Oh dear. Oh my gosh. I can't believe she caught me. Who's this?
The trash, and we're going to repurpose that.
Oh my
Are
gosh.
you talking about the Zero Food Waste Challenge?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I got caught by the Echo Private Eye page.
You sure said we are committed to composting, not throwing things into the trash. We are encouraging people to repurpose, dry your herbs. Don't put them into the trash. And also, yes, you can take that corn and make some cream corn out of it with some plant-based milks. That'll be delicious.
Oh, that's a great idea, especially if it's raw. Yes. Love the idea. I guess then that, this is the Echo page, the Echo Private Eye. What is your slogan again? Let's hear it.
Eat more.
Eat less.
Eat less.
More.
Compost more.
What is it again?
One more time. Eat less.
Compost
more. Yeah, I love it. Eat less, compost more. Join us on the Creating Resiliency group every Wednesday at 12 noon to learn more. Everyone, see you on Facebook, Creating Resiliency group. And where is that woman again? One with the big eyes she's scary. This is what you have to look forward to if you don't compost.
Awake. Knows if you've been bad or good.
That's the boogie woman who will come after you if you throw things away rather than compost them or use them in a stew or a vegetable broth or freeze them before they go. So many different options. There's just zero reason for any food waste whatsoever.
So our Echo Private Eye page, is there anything you've discovered lately that we need to find out about? Anybody you want to out other than me?
Well, okay. here's the thing. Today, I was about to throw this banana away, and then I remembered some things that I had heard. It's kind of bruised up. But then I remembered hearing, maybe even on this show, that I could turn this into a banana smoothie, some nice cream. I could peel it and freeze it and use it later. I could even make banana bread. So instead of throwing out the brown ones, utilize it. Now, the other thing, speaking of herbs, now these are really getting mushy, but I'm going to dry them because, again, you can dry your herbs. Okay, I learned this one from Vanessa straight up. These are my food waste that you had just mentioned, making a veggie broth. So, I mean, I'd like to know more details because all of this was getting ready to go even into my compost. But I thought, you know what, instead of composting it, I'm actually going to go next level up. So we're encouraging people to compost. That's the first level. And then the second level up is to figure out how to repurpose things. Right, ladies? Take it away, Vanessa.
Yes, absolutely. My thing is always that instead of throwing something away in the most sustainable way we can, which to me would be either recycling for non-food things or composting for food things. The next level is, why do we have to have any of this waste? When I eat an apple, I eat the entire thing, just not the stem at the end. That's the only thing. But the seeds are fine for you. The whole core, everything. I eat the whole thing. There's nothing left when I'm done. And for example, I don't know about carrots and using the greens. That I don't know. But beets, for example, there's nothing wasted there. I use the whole beet and then I use the greens to make a salad. Or I had a guest on Lunch Break Live who talked about making veggie straws out of the stalk part in between the green leafy part and the beet bulb itself. So there's just every bit of the food that you can use. Now, banana peels, like I don't eat them, but you can use them in your flower beds. I take my used banana peels and plant them around roses because it gives them so much potassium and they get so shiny and green, their leaves. So I always use my banana leaves for them. Orange peels, so many uses. You can polish your furniture with that. You can chop it up in little bits and put it in your vinegar and soak for a while, and that's a great cleaner and smells so wonderful. You can also use it to keep our flying friends away so it doesn't hurt them. It just tells them maybe try going over there where there aren't those orange peels. So there's so many, the seeds of things and the pits, I'll plant them. Dates, I never throw those pits away. I plant them because I want to have a whole date plantation. I would be in heaven just surrounded by date trees where I could just lie under the tree and have dates drop in my mouth. That would be so ideal with my lemur friends and relatives because I am going to be a lemur next life. I've already put in my request. The lemurs could just be throwing me some of the dates from the trees. I don't know if date trees grow in Madagascar. I can't remember. I think they do. But there's no reason that we can't use the seeds and keep going. We don't need to buy commercially prepared seeds. We can just reseed from our food. Your bell peppers, don't throw those seeds away. Use them, plant them. If you don't have a garden, just do a container garden. So that to me is the ideal, that we can use everything and cut down on what we even either recycle or compost because we're using it up in whatever way. And the minute something's starting to go bad, I'll bake something, I'll make it in something, I'll freeze it, I'll make my vegetable broth. So it doesn't get to the point where it's too late.
Vanessa, you can actually use the inside of the peel of your banana and put it on your skin. Absolutely stunning for the skin.
Yes.
And you can juice the green of the top of the carrot top.
Okay.
In fact, in the raw movement years ago, we had somebody called Carrot Top. What he called himself. And he had his hair and everything also like a carrot top. I don't know if he's still around. We ought to look him up and bring him on and invite him on if he's still around. Lisa, let us know how this week has been for you. Have you been practicing the zero food waste? And if so, what was your experience?
I am still very new to your community, and I am learning to be very mindful about what I bring in, what I utilize, and just being very much committed to the path of taking advantage. And for me, banana peels, what I love to do with them is I love to use them on my teeth. They're good for your teeth.
In fact,
Very
they're
good.
excellent for whitening the teeth.
Yes.
Excellent
Yes.
whitener for the teeth. One of the
Yes.
best whiteners, one of the most effective whiteners, in fact, for the teeth. Yes, I agree.
Better than turmeric?
Actually, yes. Actually, yes. If it's very ripe, but it has to be very ripe. You know, it's amazing because Paige, you actually wish that banana you showed us, to me, that wasn't even ripe enough. This is how ripe. Oh, well, then that's a bit much.
Well, never mind. You're
Wait,
muted, Paige.
here. You have to unmute yourself first. 'Cause I've been muting.
This is the banana that I was showing, and some people would think it's too ripe. It's squishy. It's kind of squishy, right? So I think like some people don't like to eat this one just raw like this. So I don't. It's too squishy for me. I like it just in between. But my husband just gave thumbs up for he likes to eat this just like this. So don't you dare. But I would put this in the freezer for my smoothie. But what I was showing was in my compost bin. I'm listening to ladies and I'm thinking, oh, I need to take this one out. And because you said it's so ripe and use that, well, that's coffee grounds on there. But if I rinsed it and then I could put it on my face and my teeth, that is astonishing.
I'm not sure if you rinse it will do. You might actually rinse off. Yeah. But the next banana you come across, by the way, the banana you showed before that your husband thought was perfect for eating, you said you're going to put it in the freezer. Actually, it ought to be more ripe in order to put it in the freezer.
Oh, more ripe.
Okay. It's not ripe enough for the freezer. If you want to make banana ice cream with it or put it in the smoothie, this is from the raw food movement. We were the ones who started this, and I'm telling you, that is not ripe enough. You need to ripen it a little bit more to put it in the freezer.
Could I put it in the freezer and then put it into a smoothie? Or I need to still make.
But you have to peel it first. You know that, don't you?
Yeah, peel it first. Yeah.
Because I've seen other people not know that and just put it in the freezer.
You know what, Doreen? I got to ask you because avocado is the same thing. I think that you said, make sure it's super ripe and then peel it and then you can put it into the freezer and then put it into a smoothie.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good. Well, anyway, I just wanted to say there's everything.
The outside of the skin of the avocado, the inside of the skin for the avocado, you can put it on your hands, on your face, on your legs, anywhere as well.
Oh, okay. Sometimes I'll put olive oil on my legs,
You can put olive oil anywhere.
Yes.
As long as it's cold pressed and it's first press, the first pressing.
Okay.
Now,
Well,
what is
anyway,
that you have in front of you there?
I'm just showing what can go into your compost bin. You're going to put food scraps if you're not making if you're not drying or making a soup like we talked about or a broth. This has tea bags in here and all kinds of food scraps and the inside of the. So I did put the seeds of my cantaloupe. See, I'm just not very confident I can put this stuff in the ground, those seeds, and something will come of it. I need to learn. I need to be confident. I need to see what you're doing over there, Vanessa, because
How will you know if you don't try it? All you're doing is putting the seeds in the ground. How else will you know if you don't try it?
That's okay. I appreciate that. That's a good point.
And there are animals. Okay, so every one of us needs to see this film. I don't remember the name of it. I'm going to get the name and let us know. Vanessa disappeared for a second. Okay, she's back. So let me explain to you. There's a film. There's a film. And now I hear an echo with my voice. I'm muting you all. Can you all mute yourselves, please? Thanks. Okay, so this film shows what happens in the ground and the soil. And there is so much magic and so much life in the soil. I think it's actually called The Life of the Soil, if I recall. And it shows how many creatures actually go to work when we don't even realize it's going on underneath us. And all the stuff that happens in the soil when you plant, and that anything you plant down there nourishes them. There's an entire life form, a lot of beings under the soil that need us to put these things back into the soil. So even if you don't, we don't have to do it for ourselves just so we grow something. Even if we simply just put it just so that we ourselves can contribute to the life that is happening beneath the soil and all the life forms that need us to put these things back there, because that's what's happening in nature. Something falls off the tree, it goes right back into the soil if we didn't pick it. If somebody doesn't come along and pick it and use it, it goes back into the soil and is reused again. And so that's what we all start to need to think of, is not just of ourselves, but all the other creatures on earth who will benefit. Every time we put something back into the soil, everything return everything to earth, we will also be returning there one day, and the worms and everything else will be living off of us. We all belong to the earth. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you for the clap. Yes, go ahead, please, Vanessa.
I remember doing an event at the Shu Mei Center in Pasadena, and I was talking with Roy there, who kind of runs things, and they have this theory that you don't put in any compost of anything not artificial, but anything that's not from that area. That it's more whatever is native to that area is what you put in the soil. That if a banana doesn't grow in that area, or maybe a better example for us, let's say, now I can't think of produce that doesn't grow in California.
Pineapple, papayas,
yes,
guavas.
pineapple.
Guavas are now growing, but even then they're not native. They're still not native. Only Native Americans. We'd have to. That's why I want a Native American on the show to come and let us know what's exactly is native to each area. We need several Native Americans on here, because that's just part of their own tradition. They just know it. They've been taught this by the elders.
Right.
We have not been taught this. We have been taught how to be completely and totally divorced from nature.
Yeah, and the idea of only, like, I was on a plantation in Kauai where they do the chop and drop. So whatever is the plant that's growing there, and they only had native plants there, they would, if they're deadheading or trimming anything, they just let it drop right there. They wouldn't, just like Roy was saying, they wouldn't put anything into their soil that wasn't native to that area, because they felt that built up the soil better. It made it stronger, more resilient. And as you were saying, that whole mycelium network, these root systems, tree root systems, all these interconnected webs that are so complex and communicate with each other, do get disrupted when they have to deal with foreign invaders that are not synergistic with their areas. So that made me kind of wonder about my compost, if I should be thinking of it differently and not composting anything that doesn't grow naturally in this area. Certainly not being native to this area is the nth degree, but just even, does it not grow in this kind of climate?
So towards the end there, your audio is a bit interesting.
Sorry about that. I'm in a hotel where things can be a little funky, but I was just saying, can you hear me?
Well, you're chopping back and forth. Let me go to Lisa in the meantime, and maybe you can disconnect and come back on. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to go to Lisa in the meantime. Hi, Lisa. So, Lisa.
Hello.
Hi. So, what about your own diet could be changed if you were thinking of following the Zero Food Waste Challenge?
What could I change? That's a good. I think more shopping at the market, the outdoor market here. Only buying what I need, and being very mindful of basically what I'm bringing into my house, what I'm using, just becoming, I think, more aware. I think that's where I would start. I'm trying to think
that's
of
interesting
other
what you just said, because this brings us to a topic that I wanted to introduce today. But before which is self-discipline and how that fits in, because I think we're going to be discussing zero food waste, we have to discuss self-discipline. Because do you find that because of this, you're going to be having to develop more self-discipline within yourself?
Yes, to be in integrity with participating in this show. You know, and I think mindfulness is always a great place to start, because I think a lot of us, I can speak for myself, sometimes we're just not awake to our choices. And so thank you for that.
You're welcome. Paige, whatever are you doing? I know you're up to something all the time.
I barely sit still when I'm moving. That is for sure. That sounds like an oxymoron, but when I'm awake and out, anyway, I did a workshop with a book called Drawdown, the most comprehensive plan ever proposed to reverse global warming, edited by Paul Hawkins. There is a new edition now. I don't agree with all of it, but I do agree with this. That 3 and 4 are going on a plant-based diet will reduce the carbon emissions as well as reducing food waste. So that's 3 and 4. So I just was going to say right here, this picture really made me just, I think you've probably seen this before, but I just love this. It's kind of weird, but also very cool photograph. But, our food waste in the United States alone is, what is it, like 45%? Is that right, Dorit? We heard that a couple of weeks ago from one of the gals from that organization, that incredible organization. And the problem—
Food Finders. The organization was Food Finders.
Yes, Food Finders. So let me say—
That was Diana Lara.
Amazing woman. Great projects she's doing around the world here. I mean, amazing across the nation here. What I want to say is, in regards to composting, why would we not want to throw all of this into our trash? And that's what this book talks about, is because it causes methane, which then causes carbon emissions and wreaks havoc on our climate. So we want to take the food out of our trash, okay, and put it into a composting situation or back into the ground straight up, like you were saying, repurpose, reuse, instead of putting it into the trash can with the other things that are in the trash. And hopefully you're also reducing your trash as well, the amount of trash you have. So I just wanted to say this book is a great resource. They talk about 100 ways to draw down carbon. And the other thing I wanted to point out is this incredible brochure, like leaflet from Factory Farming Awareness Coalition, which talks about fighting climate change with diet change. Every bite that we take matters. And it matters for the environment. So when you're eating meat, dairy, and eggs, you're actually contributing to climate challenge, the challenge of our climate, of our global climate challenge that we are all experiencing right now. The science shows. So when you reduce, when you flex, when you go 100%, which is definitely the goal that I have, many of us have here, that is the way in which you can make an impact on the planet with every bite. You vote with your dollars, and lots of options. And I know that each one of us here we do shows about having a whole foods plant-based diet lifestyle. So you can learn that, and also raw. And we're not junk food vegans, but we do say if you're in the if you're making your way over, then and you can make a veggie burger, you can make a vegan burger, not junk food. Right, Dorit? You were talking to me about that recently.
Oh, yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Do you have
a
raw vegan burger?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And there's another fellow, James, right now, who's developing a new one that is pretty amazing. It might be even available to be sold commercially soon. Mm-hmm. He's going to be on the show, and he'll be talking more about it. And I see Vanessa's back. So, Vanessa, is there anybody in the audience, any comments we need to discuss?
We don't have any comments yet. I hope you can all hear me and that I'm not more warped than I am already being in this hotel here. But we encourage everyone to join in, tell us your thoughts, any kind of discussions you'd like to have, what your tips are to be mindful of having less of a negative impact on the planet, how you live harmoniously, what you do for zero waste. We would love to hear from you. And one thing I'd like to just mention, since I'm traveling and I couldn't have all my things that I usually have at home and all my systems and access to the food and the farmers markets, it's very different here in Indiana, night and day from LA. But one of the things that I did was I bought a water filter, like a zero water thing, and I don't like buying any kind of plastic, but I figured for getting cleaner drinking water. The water here is very hard. I'm getting very dry. And so I just bought this zero water thing, so at least I can not be using any kind of disposable bottles, and I just keep filling it. Or I have it doesn't hold a lot, but this is a water filter. You just pour it in this outside thing and then press it down to filter out impurities. I use that all throughout Madagascar, so you don't need to have any disposable plastic bottles. Just get a water filter like the Grail. And I haven't been able to really find any farmers markets nearby, but I've just been buying a lot of produce. I don't really have access to a kitchen, staying in the hotel or at the site that George's house that I'm renovating. Everything's in shambles, so we don't have anything. But I just think if you're really mindful when you travel, you can reduce the waste and your impact so greatly. And it forces you to also think about the food that you're eating, because it's not, you don't have all kinds of places to store it. So you just buy very little at a time. I have my apples, my grapes, I have some beans. It's just being very mindful of that, and of just buying what you need and not stocking up with this whole, I know with COVID, we've gotten into this mentality that we really have to buy massive quantities, and then a lot of things go bad or we waste it or, something. So I just encourage you when traveling to continue thinking about the zero waste. And I haven't been eating in restaurants. I don't that often anyway, but in Indianapolis, there aren't many vegan options. So just living on produce is a great way. Lots of grapes and apples and dates and oranges and different produce. And I'm just eating it away. I'm not, unfortunately, composting it, but I am throwing some of it into George's garden and kind of burying it so that the new owners will have good, fertile soil.
Have you thought of speaking to the chefs in the hotel about starting composting?
Because of COVID, there is I didn't do as you said, Dorit. Usually I follow whatever you say, but this time I didn't splurge on an amazing hotel. It's a modest hotel. It's fine. It's nice, but it's not a big splurge, but it's very close to his house where I'm working. They don't have any food right now. The breakfast, everything is canceled because of COVID. So there is no food service, nothing. Oh, we have a comment.
Wait. Before we have a comment, let's go to Paige and we'll come back with a comment afterwards. Thanks.
Real quickly, I just wanted to say jars are the way to go. You get some pickles, guess what? You can put some dates inside, right? You are going to get your nuts instead of in a bag. You can buy them in jars at certain places. You get chia seeds, you're going to get them in bulk, order them online, or when you get them in the plastic bag, you're going to transfer them into here. I highly recommend not getting them in the plastic, but sometimes that does happen during this time. Chia seeds, these are hemp seeds. The other thing I want to say, I'm so proud of myself. Last week, I made ricotta cheese out of cashews. Cashews, for basil, garlic, lemon. Oh my gosh, it is so tasty. Then I put it into a lasagna, and this only took me 6 minutes to make the cheese, and there's no waste. Everything went in, it just blended up, and it's tasty. So I'm on the prowl, and the excitement. That's not quite the right word. The prowl. Ooh, that sounds like speciesism. Anyways, I am creating more cheese, because that was one of the biggest things I gave up. I felt like I was giving up was really good cheese. Now you can buy great cheese that's plant-based, but as Dorit says, and you girls are teaching me, making it yourself is going to cut down on a lot. Just think about it. I didn't have to, waste anything with that. Look at that. So, nice spreadable. I put it with a nice piece of bread with some basil and a big, huge heirloom tomato, and sprinkled some balsamic vinegar on it. And it was tasty. So yeah, geez, make your own.
So Paige is really getting into the groove. We're coming back now to Vanessa with the comments.
Oh, yes, Sarah. Hi, Sarah Siegel. who's been on the show before, and hopefully we'll have her again soon. She says, hey, we just took the Zero Waste Food Challenge in our Vegan Superheroes group this morning. Yay! Thank you, Sarah. That's wonderful news. Thank you for sharing that. And please have them join our group and our challenge. Let's get everyone going for our event. It's going through the end of November, and we have some great prizes, such as some uncooked books from Dorit for raw foods that she can talk about, a bunch of bamboo utensils and all kinds of fun treats from Paige, pole lesson from me for those who are really participating if you're local or you have your own pole and we can do it through Zoom, and some other great prizes for those who are really participating and really taking photos and documenting their whole zero waste food journey so that we can applaud you and encourage each other and share tips that we all have. I've used a lot of foods on my face. Actually, I sometimes use raw cacao powder, as Paige knows this from when we do vegan beauty voyages. I use it as for eyebrows. A lot of times I use cornstarch or arrowroot powder as powder, put in a little goji berry hibiscus powder, some kind of cranberry, whatever color you want, mix them together for some blush, put in some cacao powder for your bronzer. So there's all kinds of things that you can make yourself using food. If something, I mean, cacao powder would never go, I don't know that it goes bad, but it would never go bad in my house, that's for sure. But there, foods that are going bad, like the bananas, pineapple, things like that, guava, those are all wonderful to put on your face, especially when they're really mushy. Avocados, when they go, great moisturizing. I do a lot of scrubs and masks with food on the face, but I didn't know about the banana peel whitening the teeth. That one, brand new for me. I feel like I want to go get a banana right now and just like sit there and do that and see the gleam. So that's very exciting.
So I've taken a banana on the plane, well, several bananas usually. And then if it's I'm talking about long flights. And then, when we go overnight and you wake up in the morning. I don't usually sleep on planes, but then everybody else, rushes to the bathroom and starts brushing their teeth. I just whip out the peels that I kept, and I just, and you ought to see some of the looks I get on the flight. And so I want to spread the word about that. Yes.
And yes, Sarah, banana peel for whitening your teeth. Sarah just asked about that. Yep.
Yes. For phoning. Okay, we're going to bring on Lisa here for a moment. Lisa,
yes.
Can you please tell us? We're going to be actually bringing this topic a little deeper by speaking about what does self-discipline have to do with any and all of this? Because tell us what you think self-discipline means? What would be your own personal definition?
My version, I've been thinking a lot about self-discipline because I have gone from a enforced schedule, when you work and you have a job, you have accountability, and so it's easy to be disciplined in that area. And now that I'm freelancing, I've really had to look at self-discipline practices. And I know it starts with being mindful. It means becoming aware of where we're putting our attention to. And the more aware we are, the harder it is to go back. So I believe it's like a spiral. The more aware we are, the more awake we are, the more we make different choices. And when we make choices, we're aware of, I'm making a choice here. So I'm making a choice to be on my phone, or I'm making a choice to do some exercise. And this definitely applies to eating. Being aware of what we reach for, what we utilize, what we bring into the house. It's all connected.
And where did you learn self-discipline? Was it as a child, or did you instill this in yourself as you were growing up as a teenager, or now as an adult?
I've really had to learn as an adult. I I think sometimes when you grow up and there's a lot of push, you got to do this, that it becomes an external thing. And I think it's important that it's intrinsic. And so I do a lot of different things to encourage myself to be disciplined in my life, and just really learning to trust myself in that area. I think the more you show up for yourself, the more you encourage yourself, the easier it is. And so there's different tools I've used. I've used books, but I think hypnotherapy can be very valuable. Affirmations, just anything we can do to love ourselves even further into taking care of ourselves in that way.
Yes, it's interesting because I think hypnotherapy is a very oft overlooked tool.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of people, they say, I just cannot do this, and then they want to give up. But have you ever thought of hypnotherapy? I'm so glad you brought that up, because that is a very important practice when you really feel that on your own you're just not capable of doing it. So, which brings us to Paige. What do you think, Paige, for you? What does self-discipline mean for you? And when and where did you learn different degrees of self-discipline in your own life, if at all?
Well, quarantine definitely sent me into challenge with that, for sure. I used to teach 8 classes a week at the gym, and that was what got me out of bed and into working out, because I would then do my own workouts after or before or whatever. And I'll be honest with you, I just started working out again. I took a massive break after being a gymnast at age 9 and learning discipline through the sport of gymnastics, and then playing on a tennis team through middle school. And then running, being a runner as an activity for self-discipline, as a stress release, really, through high school and college, and then beyond, and then getting my certification after being a mom for 3 years, and realizing time for me to find something for me, and that's what got me back kind of in the workforce. But what I want to say,
and you homeschooled as well, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
And that requires tremendous discipline.
Yes, we did. We did homeschool. I don't have much discipline. My husband and I are completely opposite this way. If you look at, he has a schedule. He eats things on certain days. He wakes up at almost the exact same time. He works out at the same time. It's very much like that. I am way more loosey-goosey, especially, in other words, speciesism, but especially with quarantine. So I'm actually right now, in the moment of, as we speak, I'm creating new structures for myself that inspire me. I have things I need to complete by the end of the day, by the end of the week, and by the end of the month with some of the projects that I have. But I don't have somebody who's like this timing wise. I have certain pockets of things. So I'm in the process. I really am. And to be honest with you, it's been going pretty interestingly. Call one out on myself. I, for a while, was not really doing a whole lot of, like I said, exercising. And it's been interesting to discover. I don't recommend it, because coming back from or creating newly, it's, I have muscle memory with the workouts, and I feel like there's some muscle memory, but I'm in the process. So what I will traditionally do is throw myself into some kind of a workshop. That has been really valuable for me. And I've been doing this workshop called Elevation, and it's elevating your mindset. The other thing is I have a few go-tos. I have Agape Spiritual Center with Reverend Dr. Michael Beckwith, who for 30 years now, I've been attending different workshops and Sunday services and so forth. Everything's online. It's incredible. AgapeLive.com. And then I would say the other things I do is I have certain people that I tap into to connect in with. So I'm learning to tap and trust myself. I really like what you said, Lisa. And I think it is a trust challenge for me. I admittedly am an alcoholic, and that's difficult for me to say because I stopped drinking 10 years ago, but I realized it's a journey by which I really didn't resonate with the groupiness of it. it was an individual choice and self-discipline to say, I'm not going to do that anymore because I care too much about my body and my family, and it's not healthy for me or them. And yet I'm exploring what that is to dig deeper into my feelings. So I think, like, when it comes to self-discipline or any kind of addiction, that I think that there's emotions underneath that I personally, just speaking for myself, have not been willing to look at and deal with. So I think food has become my new addiction. And yeah, and it's all whole foods, plant-based. Well, no, that's not true, because it's not whole foods, but it's all plant-based. But yeah, so I get to unveil that and reveal that and discover newly. I'm admitting things to myself right now that I haven't even admitted to you, that I haven't even admitted to myself. So I'm in the hot seat, and yet this is my journey that I'm committed to, is to grow. And I don't think you'd be watching this if you weren't also committed to yourself, and your best self. Yeah. Thanks.
You know, I think, Paige, at this time, for all of us, I love that we had this the lockdown, and I think it's time for all of us to just look and see all the things that we've never admitted to ourselves. And I think part of the reason why people did not like the lockdown is because their distractions of, going out, doing this, doing that, being busy, was taken away, and they were left with themselves. And they had to deal with themselves. And that was the gift. That is exactly what the gift was. And instead of us embracing it and saying, come on closer, by the way, I did not know that Agape was now live. So that was another gift of the lockdown, that so much is now live and online. So it's accessible to us as long as we can afford the internet and we have a device that is still working, that, can actually get the stuff. And that's why I think one of the things that Bernie Sanders wanted to do was to bring broadband to every single community, so nobody in the United States would be without broadband. Are you aware of how many people in this country does not have internet access? In some countries, it's part and parcel of being a citizen is that you're given internet access, given it. And so I'm a bit concerned that doesn't seem to be a priority in this country that every single human being would have access to it. Just like I'm concerned that not every human being has access to healthcare, which in this country I think is disease care anyway. But in any case, the point is that the amount of people who did not take this opportunity to go within and to use opportunities that come into their lives to admit to themselves things that they never were willing to admit before takes not just courage, but I think it takes fearlessness, because I don't think courage is lack of fear. I think courage is when you are fearful, but you do it anyway. That's when you need courage. That's what courage is for. It's when you are fearful and you still do something. So, Paige, I give you a standing ovation. And I congratulate you. And I am so thrilled and so pleased and so proud of you. Because now I think the sideways starer, I think now that anybody who watches the show, you're giving them the permission to do likewise. You have now released them from the turmoil inside that prevented them from doing so. And I hope we will share and spread this video a lot so that more people will really be able to say, well, if she can do it and online, whoa, then I can just do it to myself. Because you admit it online, but you're not willing to admit to yourself. And that's the hardest thing, is for us to admit things to ourselves. And that's where you need the courage. And you walked through the door of fear. And that's exactly what I'm about in this life, is just being fully present for ourselves on every level and in every instance in our lives. I would like to leave this earth and know that this little ball of dust floating around was constantly present, all the dust and all the diamond webs and things that, that she encountered along the way, and accepted either as part of her story or part of a greater story. And so this is not your story to keep to yourself at all. It's the story to share so that we all can become looser and more open with ourselves and much more present for ourselves. The lack of presence in our lives of ourselves, we are the ones that are always missing in our lives. In every aspect of our lives, every time I have an issue, I always ask, how am I not being fully present? And the minute I ask that question, it's interesting because all the angst goes away. And that's why I don't, Vanessa was saying something about me not having a lot of anxieties. Well, that's because I believe in being present. And I think if I'm present for the stuff that's anxiety only comes around when we're not present for ourselves. Anxiety is always there to tell us, woo, 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 woo. Stay present, stay right now in this moment. The minute you do that, whatever it is was causing the anxiety disappears. And we even forget that there was even a reason behind it. Because we were not present. The minute we show up for ourselves, everything starts to fall into place. It's as if we live in a very generous universe and that the universe is always embracing us and saying, come on, sweetie pie, come on, my beloved. Let me just open you up a little bit more to yourself. Let me just widen the path for you some more. If you walk through it and you take all of your fear with you and you still walk through it, then on this path, you're going to have all the rainbows you've ever wanted in your life. And if you take this other path, well, then you're going to have to deal with that too. But just know that you can always come back to this path because I'm a very generous universe. So where's our generosity for ourselves? We are not generous with ourselves. And that to me requires self-discipline. Self-discipline doesn't mean that we have no fear. Self-discipline means we have the fear and we embrace it as we move beyond it and we use it. We use the fear actually to go the other route or to the other place. And if you do not look the fear straight in its mouth, it's going to swallow you up and gobble you up anyway. So why not do that? So Vanessa, I see we have a lot more comments. Would you like to let us know?
Yeah, for sure. And I actually had some comments that was just really profound and amazing what you said. Sarah is saying self-discipline is a total mindfulness and being aware of your energy. Absolutely. I think that is honoring yourself, being present, being aware of your energy, for sure, all of that. And George McQuaid is saying constant and consistent improvement is growth in life. What else is there? Yeah, otherwise you have stagnation, fear, running away, which just makes your own life so much more difficult. And I was going to say that I was doing speaking of self-discipline, taking good care of myself when I have time constraints, I sometimes notice that I'll slip. Like usually I'm so disciplined because I enjoy exercise, for example. I enjoy that. I like feeling my body moving and the power coursing through it and the energy. It's something that I really thrive on. And I've been working so hard on getting this house ready to sell and racing against the weather because we have to do this before the rain comes. Like we're having rain Monday. So I'm like, we have to get the exterior done before it starts raining. You know, all these considerations I don't have in LA because that would not be a problem. And so all these things, I've noticed that I've stopped doing my usual rituals, my usual exercise. And I actually had brought my yoga mat from home in my suitcase. Like there wasn't even that much room for clothing because I have my yoga mat and my ab roller, which I just love, this little wheel, you know, that you on your knees and you roll out and back in for your abs. It's so much fun and I love doing it. It's in my hotel room. And I was noticing that I was working so hard from morning till night and just trying to get things done, trying to get workers, all this stuff, that I was losing my time and presence for myself, and that my anxiety was increasing because I wasn't honoring myself and taking that time to do that, as well as feeling stiffer and kinked out a little bit more from not moving enough. To me, a lot of self-discipline is honoring yourself when it's the most challenging to do so. It's easy for me to maintain my rituals and exercise when I'm not so busy and I don't have that much going on and I have all the time to be able to do what I want. It's when there's the pressures and constraints and the issues and the obstacles and all these other things piling on, that's when the self-discipline really comes in. Because do I really not have the ability to take a few minutes for myself, to ground myself, to be present, to show myself that I care about myself enough to carve out that space, even when I'm so busy with all these other things? These other things are going to be irrelevant in a few hours, in a day, 3 days, a month. It's not going to matter, but that commitment to myself is. And I did a meditation the other day that was about when you've lost self-trust, how do you regain that? And how do you find the trustworthy parts of yourself in your past that you can build on, that you can recognize, identify, and expand on, to show that I do know how to take care of myself. I do honor myself. I do listen to my intuition. I do tune out and tune in and go inwards. And one thing I like to say is that when I go somewhere or travel somewhere to get away and be in silence, I don't feel that that's running away. I feel that's running inwards. When I go and I travel, tune out and tune in. Exactly, Paige. When I travel, I'm away from the usual distractions of my everyday life. And so I feel I can go in deeper. I have more time for myself. As Dorit said, the gift of the lockdown, we had more time to go inside and to really sit in silence. And so many more answers came to me when I was able to do that and just be in that present moment and not about what if, and should I do this? And is this the right? And my usual anxiety. And when I was able to just be present and go in, I had so much more clarity and so many more answers than when I do my own usual worrying about what's the best approach to reach my goals. And last of all, Tanya, it's so nice to see you. Happy birthday. It's Tanya's birthday today, everybody. Or no, yesterday, election day was her birthday. I forgot what day we are. Happy birthday, Tanya. She says, I'm enjoying this very much. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, Tanya. We're so happy and blessed that you are watching us.
Okay, so Lisa, I'm going to bring you back in here. Thank you very much, Vanessa.
Amazing.
And Vanessa, I wanted just to quickly say to you something that I think that part of the reason why when we travel, we have a rough time staying in pace with our rituals, and it's because we're not meant to do that. We're meant to change that. That's an opportunity for us to change and to find new ways. Like, for example, I know that when I'm traveling, the first thing I do, and this was a gift that was given to me by somebody else, the first thing that I do is I walk. I walk everywhere where I am, and I get to know the place, and it becomes very intimate for me because I'm walking. And then I start doing what other people do for movement there. I look and see, like, if people are skiing, or people are skating more, or if people are swimming, or people, that's a place where a lot of people go to swim, or is it Hiker's Haven? And then I just do whatever they're doing naturally. And I wake up earlier in the mornings, and I just make sure I find time for myself first before anything else begins. One of my biggest issues actually, is I used to put this on myself that I have no time, or that time exists, even though technically and theoretically I know that time does not exist and it's only in my imagination. Just like space doesn't exist, it's in my imagination. I buy a lot into using time as my excuse. So Lisa, what excuse do you use?
Time is time. I am really becoming aware of the time thing, where your mind says I don't have time, or I don't, time, I'm time crunched. We say these things and then we create that and fritter away our time because we're so concerned about what we're going to, how we're going to manage that, and we get overwhelmed. And when we stop doing that, it expands. So one of the things that I tell myself is I've got all the time that I need, and I have unlimited time, and just letting go of past conditioning, because I, for so many years, was a running force. I was traveling a lot. I was doing a lot of stuff. And now it's interesting how long a day feels, and how wonderful that is. And also what I do is give myself permission. Like, I always think about on a plane when they say as a parent, put the mask on yourself first, before you put it on your child. And I can imagine as a parent that would be agonizing, but you can't take care of others unless you're taking care of yourself. So part of taking care of yourself is self-trust, like we talked about, showing up for ourselves, honoring ourselves by doing our commitments. And even if it's, okay, I'm just going to give myself 5 minutes for a little affirmation work or whatever, just building that bank of trust is so important.
Yes, thank you, Lisa. And I'd actually like to honor Paige, who just dressed up again, for actually honoring herself today by being so open with us and be so free. And Paige, you're back. Oh, the Echo Private Eye is back. So what does Echo Private Eye have to add to this?
Well, this has been incredibly insightful. And I want to say what I have to add to this is that it's time to look more inward than outward. So that's my takeaway, is to take this time that is all made up anyways, because it's a conversation. We all have 24 hours of something, whatever this is, and how we use it is up to us. And that's what my takeaway is it's constructed, and we have the opportunity. I feel like it's an opportunity. This slow down, stop down, lockdown, quarantine, however you want to call it, this opportunity to go more inward. And that's what my takeaway is from this conversation. And I just encourage others to stop, look, and it starts with one step at a time. I signed up with my former trainer, who's now my trainer again, with a workout at 6:30 in the morning, 3 days a week. And that's what I committed to. I boxed myself in it. It's about stepping into maybe an unknown for yourself or something that's uncomfortable. I could sleep until 9. I'm good. I was. And I shifted because I realized unless I make a concerted commitment to change and focus and intend, nothing's going to change. It's just, you're either evolving or you're devolving. That's the bottom line. That's the yin and yang in life, right? You're either progressing or you're slipping back. And I was slipping into an abyss that wasn't something I was committed to having in my life. I'm committed to being the most powerful on the planet, to be the superpower, to save the planet in every which way that I can every single day. I have 2 children who are watching me, my every step. And I feel like it's an opportunity that we all have, like you said, Dorit, to stop, to look in, tune in, like Vanessa said, and Lisa, so many great points. I think so many people, I went to college, then I was like, I got to go get a job, which I did. And then I was on that churning, which so many people get on. That's what we think we need to do, right? So many people don't. They've stepped off, they've gotten off that train. And now we had an opportunity these last 6 months, 8 months, we don't know how long it's going to go, to what are we going to do about it? Now what?
So we will definitely continue this conversation next week, because this is something these are questions that we all need to ask ourselves. So I'm asking each member of the panel to just give us a 30-second wrap up. So I'm going to start with Vanessa, unless Vanessa, there's something from the audience that you'd like to add first.
No, nothing more from our beautiful, wonderful audience. I want to say that it's such a blessing to think about just being kinder to ourselves, trusting ourselves more, and not feeling we need to do so much, that we can be more and do less. And having that space to do that for me has been very profound, because I've always been so achievement oriented, push. And so just taking that step and really admitting to myself in a lot of ways, I don't want to do anything right now. I just want to sit. I just want to be here. I want to look at some squirrels fighting over acorns. that there are a lot of right here, and some of them are quite ferocious, and I enjoy watching their play and just sitting there and being. And to me, that's been very helpful and profound and lowered so much of my stress in my life. And I just want to say that when you admit things about yourself, what a huge burden, because none of it is worth our beating ourselves up over and making ourselves miserable. And it's such a beautiful release. And thank you, Paige, for doing that. Such a gift.
Lisa, go ahead, please. Your 30-second wrap up, please.
Oh yeah, I just want to thank Paige for her sharing something that I know that other people have challenges with as well. And so by airing that to light and owning where we are, because there's no such thing as we're in progress, we're not perfection. We're growing and we're learning, and we're here to help others. And I think it really starts with compassionate awareness. And compassion doesn't just extend to the planet. Compassion begins with us, with ourselves. And when we're compassionate with ourselves, we can extend that to others, and it ripples across the planet. So that's what I took away from today, is how important it is to slow down and really listen.
Thank
and
you.
love.
Yes. Well, when we slow down and listen, that's what we find. When we listen, we find love. That's where we find it. Love has never happened or existed in the distractions or in the busyness. It's always internal. It's never external. So I want to thank each and every one of you for really coming forth and being present for yourselves today, because in doing so, we are present for each other all the time, and it makes it much easier. And yes, Paige. Unmute first, please.
Well, I want to circle back to the zero food waste, but also encourage people to make some conscious choices about your purchases when it comes to, other things too. So this is my new favorite. It's bamboo, 100 no trees. It comes in a box. You order it online, and it's this thin paper, probably made of bamboo as well. It's called REEL, and you can find them all over. So REEL, and then bring your own napkin. Bring your own utensils, use a glass straw or metal straw or bamboo straw, whatever it is, but it's a reusable. And then these, I just want to show, this is part, what Vanessa was just showing, this is part of what our giveaway is for the contest. So we're giving away 2 of these, so you can have a set. And this is the other big one, is to get a bamboo toothbrush. All right, and compost more. Eat less and compost more.
Okay, so at the beginning we showed a video at the beginning of one of our PSAs. We will be actually putting all of them up. We have 2 with Vanessa, 2 with Paige, and I'm doing my own next week. We'll be putting them up here on the Creating Resilience Facebook page. But we ask you, if you like them, to please start sharing it and start bringing more people in on the zero food waste. And I would actually like to ask the group, instead of us finishing this in the end of November, if we could extend it to the end of December, please. Yeah? Great. Excellent. What about you, Vanessa?
We need this concept through December,
yes.
Right? Like you were saying, the mindful, the unconsciousness that happens over the holidays, right?
Yes.
And we like to say living, so we encourage people to eat living foods, not to make a graveyard of your stomach, to eat living foods during Thanksgiving, but also the consciousness over the holidays, for sure, to zero waste and all around.
That's actually what Vanessa's been doing without realizing it. All the stuff she is eating, those are all alive. Those are all things that were alive, and that's what, when we travel, we're forced to do. If we're being conscious about what we put in our mouths, we all end up eating a lot of foods that are alive and just living foods, raw foods. And Vanessa, I know you're going to be there in Indiana again this week, and I want to remind you that every place that we go, every single space in life and on the universe has a different vibrational energy. And I find when I travel, if I tune in, the reason why I said what I said before is when I'm traveling, if I tune into the vibrational energy of that place, then I find that I'm no longer at odds with it. and I fit right in. I find that I fit right in and actually enjoy it to the point where when I leave, I miss it, and I see what I can take with me from there. So might I invite you to tune into the vibrational energy of Indiana. It has some amazing stuff going on for it. It has some incredible people there. And I think if we start matching our vibrational energy with the vibrational energy of the place, and we uplift our vibrational energy to the highest level of the vibrations there, then we find that we start beginning to attract people and the circumstances and experiences there that we didn't have before. It's all up to us. We are that powerful. And so on that note, I'm asking you all to please use the opportunities this week. We have so many opportunities to find our power and to take our power back. So please delve into it. Mine is always the same thing, letting go of the concept of time, which I know really does not exist, but somehow I'm still buying into. So thank you all, everyone. And we look forward to seeing you all next week here again as we continue exploring self-discipline and zero food waste. Bye for now.